All right, everybody, welcome in MLB Friday with early slate stuff that I'm going to cover today. MLB DFS. I'm Choppadong. You're here to listen to a little bit of the reasoning and the thoughts and the process of dissecting a three-game early MLB slate. We've got some home openers on there. Teams are always jacked up. I'm jacked up. Second round of opening days for this young MLB season. Let's dive in. Before we do, let's get the particulars out of the way. Head down to the comment section, click the link, dfsarmy.com. Use the coupon code CHOP, C-H-O-P, or one word, opening day, for a 20% discount off the lifetime of your membership, should you decide to stick around for quite a while. I'm going to do a little bit of teaching today. I'm doing a little bit inside our VIP forums, so hopefully you're getting a little bit of both or access to both, and if you're not, you want it, so you're coming inside to use that discount and jump on in. Today's a little bit different. Being a three-day slate, I mean, of course, you can find me out here on Twitter at Choppadong. Today's a little bit of a different slate. Being a three-game slate early, it's actually rather interesting. I'm ignoring this game. I don't know if it's on DraftKings or not. I apologize, but I just was playing the FanDuel early today. I'll play DraftKings probably later tonight on the main. We've got Dodgers-Rockies, home opener for Dodgers, or for Rockies. Maeda versus Tyler Anderson. It's an interesting little matchup. Got a little bit of a snippet in there for you. Padres-Cardinals. Marjavicius, however you would pronounce his name, Jack Flaherty, and then Glasnow and Rodriguez out here in Tampa Bay in the forgotten game, which is Tampa Bay and Giants. I think it's a little bit of a mistake to forget this game entirely, especially the Tampa Bay side. However, it does look like Jack Flaherty is going to be the chalk on the three-game slate. And I also think that's a little bit of a mistake. If we dive in to the research station here at dfsarmy.com, we look at today's starting pitching matchups. What we're going to look at quickly is a little bit of K-score. You can see I always have it sorted by K-score. Flaherty and Maeda are 1 and 2. Glasnow and Marjavicius are not too far behind, but Marjavicius is on a very, very short sample size, which will play into the thoughts on this slate as well. Here's the type of stuff that I give to our VIPs. I'll release a little bit of it out there today because it's such a three-game slate. We'll try and get into the 8-game main slate for the VIPs a little bit later today. Flaherty obviously is going to be the chalk. Should we stack against it? Sure, you could. Bank on him coming off to another kind of a weaker opening day start, or early season start while he's getting the feel for his pitches, etc. It's opening day. Maybe he's nervous, maybe not. Who knows? All those narratives are sort of in play. But when we're looking at a combination of Vegas odds, he's implied to win, a -180, so that's pretty strong. He's got the highest K-score on the slate. We know San Diego historically likes to strike out. There's a lot of ups for Flaherty. The only downs would be, is the situation a little too big for the kid to handle, or is he struggling out of spring training with feeling his pitches? Is he going to implode for 4, 5, 6 runs against? I don't really know. St. Louis bullpen's been pretty bad, so if you can run Flaherty out of the game early, you might get into the bullpen, draw some walks, get a few key hits, and maybe your San Diego stack pays off. I would definitely do it if running multiple entries into other tournaments. I would have maybe a smidge of it somewhere. But, of course, everybody else is going to be focused on the Coors and the Dodgers game. The Coors game with the Rockies and the Dodgers. And I think the Dodgers, self-explanatory. Off to a good start. They're mashing Wobas just about everywhere. And it's not as if Tyler Anderson is some pitcher to be feared with a low K-score, a relatively, a moderate, not exactly a high Sierra, but a moderate Sierra. I'd like to check his home road split, see if he pitches better at home than he does on the road. Don't really know. But just, it's not something I'm really, really worried about. And as hot as the Dodgers are, it's a spot that I would like to focus on Dodgers. Yes, they're priced up. I will tell you two things about Coors, though. Coors, early in the season, sometimes is a little bit softer, a little bit tougher place to hit. Ball doesn't fly quite as well. I'll leave the rest of the analytics to the VIPs, but just tread lightly on Coors early in the year. It's not the bonanza everybody's excited about today. Now, I would also be looking at Derek Rodriguez in my stacking against, so that brings Tampa Bay into play, one of the worst pitchers on the slate. So, and it's not like San Francisco's a great hitting environment either, but at least we're getting a day game out there where the marine layer hadn't set in. So there is weather that factors into MLB quite a bit. Marjavicius, Glasnow's in play because of San Francisco being a weaker offense, of course. So I like Glasnow quite a bit today. I also like Kenta Maeda, and I'll get into Kenta Maeda and Marjavicius here in just a second. Why Maeda? Well, we know that the Rockies are cold. They may get excited today and they may go bananas. Who knows? But right now they're pretty cold. We know that that Maeda has faced them quite a bit. We know that Coors is a less than ideal hitting environment early in April. So we've got some factors going for us that would maybe take us off of Coors bats. Here's the other one. I went through Fangraphs.com and filtered out the away starts versus Colorado. So in Coors Field for Kenta Maeda, right? I wanted to see what Maeda would do at Coors. What's his career look like? Well, 31 innings pitched. 5 innings or 6 per start. Call it 5 or 6 starts. Okay? 3.19 ERA. Pretty impressive for Coors. 25 hits allowed, 2 doubles, 1 base, 11 runs. So 2 doubles, 1 triple, 4 bombs. Okay, not exactly giving up the farm. 11 runs across, say, 5 starts is 2 per start. Again, pretty solid. 35 strikeouts across 5 starts is 7 per. That's pretty strong. A 210 average against, a 276 OBP against, and a 275 WOBA against. I don't know about you, but that's actually pretty damn good for Coors. Add in lesser hitting environment early in the year and cold Colorado bats, and I'm taking tournament shots on Kenta Maeda like mad. He's also priced down because pitchers get priced down and bats go up when the fantasy sites head into Coors. So it's our job to look a little bit deeper and think about things, and is this going to make any sense? Now, if I'd seen a 4.5 ERA, 6 home runs given up, 18 strikeouts, and a 420 WOBA or a 380 WOBA, no, I would not be excited about this at all. But looking at the numbers I'm looking at, I think it's worth a shot. Depends on if you've got the stones to do it or not, because the numbers, all of the logic is pointing toward this being a great, great play today. So that would be one thing I would do. The other thing I would do is I'd run over to RotoGrinders and I would look up Marjavicius and look at his pitch types and see how he profiles. So I'd sort by, St. Louis, San Diego, and then I would go to Marjavicius, St. Louis hitters, and I would go to this season only because he doesn't have a track record in 18 or 2017. And we've got very, very, very small sample. But what I'm seeing is he's a 2-pitch pitcher. It's all fastballs and sliders. Varies it up a little bit for righties and lefties, but over 65% of the time he's chucking the 4-seamer. Now here's what I know about St. Louis. St. Louis, because I live here, and this has been going on for at least back into the Tony La Russa era. St. Louis relies a lot on video, and they need a book built up against a pitcher so that they can exploit his weaknesses when they study. And we've seen this all the way back to Bud Norris types, and soft toss and lefties are the bane of their existence. And this isn't that. It is a lefty, but this isn't that. This guy's throwing heat. St. Louis hitting philosophy typically likes to sit dead red. Anyone can hit a straight fastball. So if you sit on it, you can mash it early in counts. They can fall behind in counts and get themselves into a little bit of trouble where they're chasing outside the zone. But if the thing comes down the pipe, first or second pitch, St. Louis can have a big game. This is very much kind of a 50-50 where I don't know how this game would go. I think Marjavicius could strike a ton of people out because the strikeouts in St. Louis are up early this year to the point they're a concern. But because he's throwing all heat, I don't really know that St. Louis can't handle him. I mean, St. Louis can handle the heat. That plays everywhere. So St. Louis sitting dead red could have a great day. They could also need a book to be built on this guy and have a horrible day. So on DraftKings as like a second starter or, as a deeper tournament play. I don't mind Marjavicius at all today. I think it's risky, but I don't mind it at all. I think that Flaherty's the overwhelming pick. I think that Maeda is a great pick. I think Glasnow is going to be very, very underrated. And I think that Marjavicius is actually kind of in a sneaky spot too. It all depends on what plays out and how you're going to do it. I would be on the Dodgers bats because Tyler Anderson's not a pitcher that we're really afraid of. I would be on the Tampa Bay bats. I would be on some of the Cardinals bats banking on the sitting dead red thing I just told you about. And I might be on some Dodgers or some Padres bats just in case. And I might be on some Rockies bats just in case. The only team I'm really not going to be on is the Giants today. And I'm going to mix and match and see where the value plays out on these slates and see what ends up happening for how we're going to end up seeing what we want to see for the way the slate might pan out across multiple scenarios. So I'm going to play multiple lineups, and I'm going to mix and match and take some shots with different pitchers and different. I like Flaherty the best. If I had a gun to my head and had to pick one, I like Flaherty the best. I like Maeda probably second. Glass now second. Maeda probably third, and then Merjavicius fourth. So I would mix and match. Now, I wouldn't mind on DraftKings a Maeda Merjavicius GPP pitching lineup. It's not exactly the safest thing in the world, but it's not terrible. You're probably going to need some Merjavicius over a Derek Rodriguez or even a Tyler Anderson. Maeda gets you bats. Doesn't get you Rockies bats, but you might not want those anyway. Flaherty gets you probably safety with upside, and Glasnow probably as well. So those would be kind of the combos that I'd be looking at, and I would tweak them in my optimizers accordingly so that they're pulling at a high percentage of Flaherty and then kind of an more even mix of Maeda, Glasnow, Merjavicius. Over on DraftKings, I might boost Maeda just a smidge so that I get a little bit more Flaherty, Maeda, Merjavicius, something like that. Maeda Glasnow, something like that to start boosting the probabilities that I get a little bit of salary to play with for bats. Where would I go in bats? Well, I run into the trends tab at dfsarmy.com and I sort by L7 WOBA. So when I take just this particular slate and turn on those games, now I'm going to be looking for larger sample sizes, hopefully, than a Matt Wieters. But I'm going to be looking at Colton Wong. Jock Peterson, if he gets a start, that's lefty on lefty, but he sat for 3 days. I don't know. They might have just screwed him up sitting against all these lefties. He was running really, really well. Wouldn't probably be into Verdugo. I'd keep playing Cody Bellinger. Kiki Hernandez is an all-star play this slate, along with probably Colton Wong. Too bad they play the same position. Austin Barnes still up there. Heredia, probably a smaller sample size, yes. Will Myers, if you're attacking St. Louis, is going to anchor that stack. Goldschmidt might anchor the stack if you're going to attack the Padres pitcher. Yandy Diaz, here comes some of the Tampa Bay guys. Well, I guess Yandy's the only one, but there are others that are in play. Brandon Lowe, a couple of these guys with some thump in their lineup. Iannetta has good BVP against Maeda, actually, so that would be a bat that I would take in Colorado. Hunter Renfroe, if he draws the start, has power everywhere. Just rolling down this lineup and looking at that L7 WOBA, watch Colorado. There isn't really much going on there. A little bit out of Iannetta, so I would definitely use him as a one-off today for sure. There's quite a bit going on the Dodgers. Look at all these guys hitting over 400. I would be after for sure. San Diego, a little bit. You're really banking on a Flaherty blow-up. San Francisco, nothing to write home about. Maybe Duggar is a one-off, a cheap one-off if you need one. St. Louis, there's a little bit to go on here. I'm not into the Matt Wieters thing, obviously, but Colton Wong and Goldschmidt are anchoring this lineup. Then you can come down here a little bit more, take a shot at the bottom of the order with a Wong Bader. Maybe, a middle heart order of, DeYoung, Goldschmidt, something like that. It has at least a little bit of firepower to it. Tampa Bay, take a quick scan here and look through these numbers. So Guillermo Heredia, Yandy Diaz, if he's not questionable, if he does get the start today, is probably the first bat I would take. Kiermaier's climbing up there a little bit. Meadows, Brandon Lowe have some thump. Those would be other bats that I would be looking towards. And that pretty much wraps up the slate today. You're going to have to take some stands. You're going to have to draw some lines in the sand and make tough decisions, even on a 3-game slate. The funky will happen. Something will happen somewhere. I mean, if you really wanted to, you could go way out on a limb and say that San Francisco is the highest scoring offense on the slate. I don't see that being possible. But I love the idea of taking Maeda. I love the idea of St. Louis going either way with their bats. My core plays would probably be Flaherty and Dodgers bats, as many of them as I could find. I would surround it with all the other secondary plays. All right, this has been Chop A Dog. Very easy 3-game slate to kind of break down, get you set in the right direction. If you want to come inside for more talk, and certainly for main slate talk, you're going to have to click the link, dfsarmy.com. You have to come inside using coupon code CHOP. or opening day trigger that discount and get yourselves in here and get to talking to us so that we can help raise your edge and make you a little bit better player across slates like these with thoughts like these, showing you where to go, where to look things up, where your resources are, and how to do the digging for yourself to become a better player. Come on inside, come say hi. I'm Chapadong, and I'm out of here for today.